What if I told you that some of the most daring heists in history played out like scenes straight from a movie? Armed robbers infiltrating JFK Airport, overpowering workers, and vanishing with millions. A mysterious hijacker parachuting out of a plane mid-air with a fortune, never to be seen again. These aren't just stories, they're real crimes that left investigators baffled and fortunes missing. Get ready as we uncover the largest successful heists in history. Part 1. On a frigid January night in 1950, 11 men pulled off what was dubbed the crime of the century. The target, Boston's Brinks Armored Car Depot. 7 masked thieves led by Anthony Fats Pino slipped inside using copied keys. In just 20 minutes, they bound 5 employees and escaped with a staggering $2.775 million, over $33 million today. For 6 years, the FBI was stymied. No solid leads, minimal evidence. But human nature would be the gang's undoing. Joseph Specs O'Keefe, a crucial member skilled in breaking and entering, became embroiled in conflicts with his cohorts. Surviving 2 attempts on his life and demanding his share of the loot, O'Keefe turned informant just days before the statute of limitations expired. 11 men were ultimately convicted, including Michael Geegan, Thomas Sandy Richardson, Henry Baker, and James Fairdy. Yet the case's mystique endured. Only a fraction of the loot was ever recovered, with over $1 million still unaccounted for today. The Great Brinks robbery, a meticulously planned heist, undone by greed, betrayal, and the flaws of human nature.
Good evening. December 11th may go down as the day of the biggest robbery in our country's history, and it happened right here in New York.
It was a job so legendary, it inspired Goodfellas. In the early hours of December 11th, 1978, 6 masked men stormed a cargo terminal at JFK Airport, overpowering employees at gunpoint. In just 64 minutes, they vanished with $5 million in cash and $875,000 in jewelry, worth over $25 million today. At the time, it was the largest cash robbery in U.S. history. The alleged mastermind? Mafia associate Jimmy Burke, a ruthless enforcer for the Lucchese crime family. His inside man, airport worker Louis Werner, had tipped off the crew about untraceable money stored in the vault. The plan was meticulous, but paranoia unraveled it. As authorities closed in, Burke allegedly began eliminating anyone who could tie him to the heist. One by one, gang members disappeared, their bodies turning up in trunks, rivers, or not at all. Despite decades of investigations, only Werner was convicted for his role in the actual robbery. The cash, never recovered. The heist might have been perfect if only the perpetrators had trusted each other. In a twist of fate, the FBI's relentless pursuit made the Lufthansa heist one of the longest investigated crimes in U.S. history, with latest arrest coming in 2024. Yet the full truth behind this audacious caper remains shrouded in mystery, cementing its place in criminal lore.
This is a case that questions who you are, what you believe, what you want to believe, and what really happened.
The sky was the limit for D.B. Cooper, or so he thought. On November 24, 1971, a man using the alias Dan Cooper boarded Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 in Portland, Oregon. Mid-flight, he handed a note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner, revealing a bomb in his briefcase and demanding $200,000 in cash, equivalent to $1.5 million in 2024, and 4 parachutes. With passengers and crew in fear, Cooper's demands were met in Seattle. He released the 36 passengers and 2 flight attendants in exchange for the money and parachutes. As the Boeing 727 took off again, heading toward Mexico with a skeleton crew, Cooper had other plans. Somewhere between Seattle and Reno, he lowered the rear stairs and parachuted into the night sky over southwestern Washington, vanishing with the ransom. For decades, the FBI investigated but found no trace of Cooper. In 1980, an 8-year-old boy discovered $5,800 of the ransom money along the Columbia River, reigniting public interest. The case remains unsolved, leaving us to wonder, was Cooper an expert skydiver who escaped, or did the harsh conditions prove fatal? An audacious heist that still begs the question, who was D.B. Cooper? A quiet railway track, a dark moonlit night, and a £2.6 million fortune waiting to be stolen. On August 8, 1963, a gang of 15 men, backed by 2 key informants, pulled off Britain's most infamous heist, the Great Train Robbery. Just after 3 a.m., the gang tampered with railway signals to stop the Glasgow to London Royal Mail train near Bridego Bridge, Buckinghamshire. Disguised in helmets, ski masks, and gloves, they overpowered the driver, Jack Mills, uncoupled the front 2 carriages, and forced postal workers inside to the floor. Then, in under 30 minutes, they made off with £2.6 million in cash, worth over £58 million today. The robbers retreated to Leatherslade Farm, their hideout, celebrating what seemed like the perfect crime. But their biggest mistake? Leaving behind a wealth of evidence, including fingerprints on items like a ketchup bottle and Monopoly board. This, combined with inside information, led police to the gang. Within months, most were arrested and given severe sentences of up to 30 years. The gang's leader, Bruce Reynolds, evaded capture for 5 years, while Ronnie Biggs, famous for his subsequent escape from prison, spent decades on the run. Despite the arrests, most of the money was never recovered, cementing this as one of history's most daring and profitable train heists. It was a robbery so audacious, so meticulously planned, it seemed plucked from a Hollywood screenplay. But this was no fiction. In August 2005, a gang of thieves in Fortaleza, Brazil, orchestrated one of history's most spectacular bank heists, pilfering an astounding $71.6 million without triggering a single alarm. For 3 painstaking months, the criminals masqueraded as landscapers, renting a modest property just 2 blocks from the Banco Central. From this inconspicuous base, they excavated a 256-foot tunnel, reinforced with wood and equipped with lighting and ventilation, leading directly into the bank's vault. Over a single weekend, they breached the 3.6-foot thick steel-reinforced concrete floor and absconded with 3.5 tons of untraceable cash, all while remaining completely undetected. By the time authorities uncovered the crime on Monday morning, the perpetrators had vanished into thin air. While some were eventually apprehended, including the mastermind Antonio Jusivan Alves dos Reis, the majority of the stolen fortune was never recovered. This perfectly executed plan proved that sometimes the most lucrative heists don't require firearms, just unwavering patience and surgical precision. It was the heist of the century, a job so meticulously planned, it seemed impossible to pull off. On the weekend of February 15th to 16th, 2003, a group of skilled Italian thieves known as the School of Turin infiltrated the heavily guarded Antwerp Diamond Center, one of the world's most secure vaults, and vanished with over $100 million in diamonds, gold, and cash. The mastermind? Leonardo Notarbartolo, a career thief who spent years posing as a diamond dealer to gain insider knowledge. His team bypassed 10 layers of security, including motion detectors, infrared heat sensors, magnetic fields, and a steel-reinforced vault door. How? By disabling security cameras, using hairspray to neutralize heat sensors, and even crafting a duplicate key. The next day, police found a half-eaten salami sandwich and trash along the E19 motorway, leading them straight to Notar Bartolo. The DNA evidence from the sandwich proved crucial in connecting him to the crime. He was arrested and sentenced to 10 years in prison. However, the story didn't end there. Notar Bartolo was released on parole in 2009, but was rearrested in 2013 for violating parole conditions, serving the remainder of his sentence until 2017. A daring plan, a clean execution, and a fortune that remains missing to this day. The Antwerp diamond heist continues to captivate the world as one of the most audacious robberies in history. It was the most audacious art heist in history and remains unsolved to this day. In the early hours of March 18, 1990, two men disguised as Boston police officers entered the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. The unsuspecting guards, believing it was a routine check, let them in. Moments later, they were handcuffed and locked in the basement. For precisely 81 minutes, the thieves moved methodically through the museum, slashing 13 priceless artworks from their frames, including masterpieces by Rembrandt, Vermeer, and Degas. Initially valued at $200 million, the haul is now worth over $500 million. Then, as swiftly as they had entered, they vanished into the night. Decades later, the case remains shrouded in mystery. No arrests, no recovered paintings. FBI investigations pointed to the Boston mob and even named specific suspects, but concrete proof remained elusive. Empty frames still hang in the museum, silent witnesses to the audacious crime. The museum offers a $10 million reward for information leading to the art's recovery. Will this $500 million mystery ever be solved, or will the masterpieces remain lost to the world forever? Millions stolen. Criminal masterminds vanishing without a trace. Some of these heists remain unsolved, leaving behind nothing but questions and legends. How did they pull it off? Could these treasures ever be recovered? And most importantly, could someone be out there planning the next big score? Let us know which heist fascinated you the most in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more unbelievable crime stories. Because as history shows, sometimes crime does pay.